This is a continuation of assembly of our Redneck Springer. So far we've got the lower springs in, we've got the rockers in. Right now I'm compressing the spring so we can start working on assembling the top. So I'm really sore because I worked out too hard yesterday, but I'm going to go ahead and spin these springs down. You'll see the springs are compressing. And the more you compress them, the easier it is to work up on the front. And that should probably be it right there. So that should be a good place right there. Now you're going to come up here, you're going to see the...
Let me get the camera adjusted here.
You're going to see the rods are sticking out, the springs are compressed. So the first step of this is our inner sleeves. Those inner sleeves sit right down on the rods. The inner springs go down next, so you'll see they're a little bent. They come that way. Don't be alarmed if you get your springs and you, oh my God, they're bent. That's how they come. Somehow put some tension in that spring.
It's just a tight coil when they're creating them.
So then you got your top springs. On the top of the top springs is your dog bone. So the dog bone has two different size recesses. So the first one, the bottom one is bigger than the top one. You'll see that the spring nuts go right down in, and when it's right, they should look like that. You see that? All set down. If they look like this, you have them back upside down. So again, it goes spring, and then spring.
And this is something too where you put your clamp is important, and also in final assembly where you have your wood is important, because you can impede the outer spring going all the way down if you have it moved one way or the other, or it's too thick. So you know, sometimes that's just a test. You know, you get more experience as you do it, but just pay attention to that part when you're at this part of the assembly.
So then your dog bone grabs those springs. This nut sits down inside, and you can see I've got a good setup there, so that should just spin right on there.
Get your wrench.
Get my ratchet. Put my ratchet in the tool, in the hole. And that goes right on. And so what I like to do is just get a couple of threads on there where it's holding it. It's important not to try to spin one side down faster than the other. So you want to kind of get them both started.
What you'll end up doing is walking them down. You'll do a little on one side, a little on the other.
So I've got one, I'm walking it down, and as you're tightening them down, you'll start to see as you're looking down on the dog bone, you'll see it start to angle. So you angle it a little bit to one side, come in the other side, and pull that one down, and you'll go past straight, and you'll get a little angle going on that one. And again, this is raw, so you kind of just bounce it down. When you're in final assembly, I would suggest you slow way down. You don't want to scratch up your parts and then be sitting waiting for them to get refixed or trying to touch them up. And so again, this is just tightening down. And I like to tighten it down so that the top spring bolt goes all the way down into the rod. So when it's done, what you're looking at is here. Let me see that. So when it's done, when you look in, can you see that? Okay.
Let me zoom in a little bit. Tilt it down just a little bit.
You can see the top of the rod just puncturing through the bolt itself. And then the other thing I'll do is, as I'm doing this, I kind of move the springs around and make sure the springs are set down in their hole and where they go. And when they're not, you'll hear them. They'll pop right into place. So again, we're just tightening it down, walking it down a little bit at a time, not in a big hurry. Especially on final assembly, just don't be in a hurry. Just walk it down nice and slow. The other thing we've done is we have a little extension that we put on here sometimes, and we've cleaned off the edges a little smaller so they fit down in really nice. When you get the hardware, all the hardware is stainless steel, so you can polish up the hardware before you put it in. And like these are the top bolts for the top triple tree. You can polish that up real nice. They come out really, really nice. I prefer the brushed look rather than the polished look, but to each his own. So that is, got a little bit more. Walk that down. Walk that down. Yeah, you hear that spring? That was a spring pop right there. And just a little bit more. Okay. So basically, that is it. Basically, that is a Springer assembled right there. Go a little bit more on this one. That's pretty good right there. So then you'll come and take the tension off. And as you take the tension off, you'll see the springs start to sit back. And final assembly, when you take this off, have somebody help you so you're not, again, damaging the parts. We've been doing this a lot of years. We still damage the parts. I mean, it just is one of those things that happens sometimes.